Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? I hope that everyone is doing good on this Saturday night. Yeah, I was actually supposed to have a special guest on here tonight, and something came up at the last minute, and they're going to come on another night. And when they come on, y'all are going to be surprised and happy. It's actually someone that you all are used to seeing on TV to weigh in on the case, but something came up tonight. So we're going to go ahead and just talk about um, what is it going to take to stop the bloodshed in the wake of the Young Dolph's murder? Because I'm in the Memphis area. I was born and raised in Memphis, and so hello Yam, hello Miss Lynn from Facebook. I see Facebook is in the house. Um, yeah, I had a special guest, actually a celebrity guest that was supposed to come on tonight, and they called me at the last minute because they are a little older and they kind of wasn't feeling good, but they're gonna come on. Y'all gonna be surprised at who it is, and we're gonna schedule another time. But I was so excited to have them on so that you all can ask him questions and let him weigh in on this case and talk about everything that's going on. Like I was excited, but it's all good. He's gonna come on, and we're gonna have some more people on too. Y'all. I tell you, I have been a little bit stressed working because I've expanded with my investigative company. And so I got some fingerprinting machines coming in that's connected to TBI, and I got a new system um that I have that is, oh my God, it is the bomb.com. When I talk about running background checks, I got a few contracts with some companies. And the reason I'm talking about it is because I was so completely stressed. Like I had, in order to get the system, because it runs so much information, as I always say now, y'all, the stuff that y'all get on the internet is not really even accurate, because it's certain things by law that they cannot even give you over the internet as it relates to people's information. But this system gives me the opportunity to do everything like in one click, as far as background checks and stuff like that. With my investigative company, I kid you not, I had to. I felt like I was trying to go through a clearance to get into the United States. They came out to my office 3 times, inspected my office, made sure I had all of the security in my office. I couldn't wait for you to come on. Thank you, Miss Lynn. And they made sure that I had all the security locks in my office. They came out there 3 times to make sure that the information that I run, and I'm very careful with people's information too. Um, Security locks. I had to do a virtual walkthrough of my office. They came back out there again today, just a pop up to make sure I was doing, to make sure things were legit. They was like, because you get such sensitive information. I was like, oh my God, like Jesus Christ, I've been stressed out because I had taken some contracts from a company to do some background checks, and I expected to be able to use my system, that particular system, because I already have some systems that do real good, but this system is just a one click and gives me everything. Shit, it gives me information before they was even born, and my God, it was just stressful. But then I had some cases, but I'm here tonight, and I'm here to talk about, like I said, I had a celebrity guest coming on, and he's gonna come on up until the last minute. He's going to come on to weigh in on the Young Dolph's case, but up until the last minute, he wasn't feeling well, so he'll be on one day next week to talk about this Young Dolph's case and give some information and what he thinks. But you guys, I wanted to talk about, and the reason I came up with this topic, stopping the bloodshed. I knew that there was a lot of crime and stuff in Memphis, right? But I was talking to somebody over at the PD earlier, and they was talking about a lot of retaliatory murders. Like, and I'm not necessarily saying like retaliation from within Dolph's camp. I'm not saying within Pre. I'm saying, like, they was talking about a lot of retaliatory murders from young men who actually love Dolph. You know what I mean? And has kind of just taken it up on itself. Thank you, Daniel. Has taken it up on themselves to kind of ride for Dolph. And I was like in a shock. I was like, really? They was like, yeah, they kind of that battle was out there. And that's one reason why I wanted the celebrity guest that I was going to have on tonight to talk about, what we could do to stop the bloodshed. I think, because as far as the news media, oftentimes they don't really know in the beginning. They can't really point the finger and say that these people are retaliating. And like I said, I'm not talking about I'm just talking about young men, maybe from anywhere. It could be, that in Memphis that love Dolph, and or was already in a gang affiliation, and and I think that's one of the things that the officers have been frustrated with too, because for some reason or another, people are hesitant about, and I'm talking about out in the street, not as it relates to this situation where the people have already been identified and are in jail with the Dolph case. I'm talking about these people out in the streets feeling like they hear something and they're going and retaliating and not speaking with the police. They're just taking it up on themselves to go and retaliate. And like I said, we all want justice for Dolph, but we don't want people riding themselves and killing people themselves. And that's what I was talking to one of my friends earlier. He was saying that's kind of a problem that people are kind of taking it up on themselves um to to retaliate. Like I said, not now. I miss the old Memphis. I miss the old Memphis too, Summer, but not the ones that they already have in jail, you guys, because those young men, the people that they have identified, they have um they're not having any issues with getting information. I'm gonna tell you that now. Like, I cannot speak about certain, because my friends are over there, like I said, and it just had a whole new group of investigators that was promoted. And I was kind of bragging on one of my social media pages earlier because there was a young man that I was really good friends with that was murdered last year. People knew him all over Memphis because he had a local TV show. Someone gunned him down, Gerald Stewart, right? Gerald the mechanic. And I think it was national. It made national news. And the case had kind of gone cold, and I had kind of taken it up on myself to get out there and get some information as a private investigator. And they had some promotions within, because I have cases of my own too that I have to work. And they did a big promotion, and one of my close friends was promoted and was sent over to homicides, some months back. And when I saw that he was on a case, I was so happy. And I was thinking, a lot of people think because they're new investigators, that they're not solving anything. He got right on that case and they're about to make some arrests, so you're talking about a lot of new officers, a lot of new investigators that are in homicides, because a lot of those old ones were promoted to lieutenant and they're kind of taking over the case. And a lot of them are younger. And so people are able, especially out in these streets, are able to identify with them more and are giving them more information too. So they've been doing their thing. But I said that to say this: they are not having any issues with getting folks to talk in this young Dolph's case. And that's a really, really good thing. I think with this young Dolph situation, it's so many twists and turns, with this situation. It's so many twists and turns. My thing is, I would love to see them get all of the people that are involved alive. You know what I mean? Hello, Miss Maria. I would love to see them get everyone that is involved and get them alive, and not identify them after, not found out that this person was eliminated before that they could get them, without the retaliation. And I guess that's why my topic is what it is tonight. What is it going to take to stop the bloodshed? Because for some reason people feel like they need to go and retaliate on their own. I was thinking about the cookie shop. And I know a lot of people talk about the cookie shop. Everybody has his or her own opinion about the cookie shop, right? But for me, you never hear me. You never hear me. For those of you all that's coming in, hit the like button. Please hit the like button. For those of you, it's 21 people in here. And I would, the hitting the like button helps to my video to circulate more. And also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, hello, Miss Kimberly Wilson. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to drop the link in a few minutes too, because I want for you all to come up, because I would like to hear some solutions, like what can we do. But a lot of people talk about the cookie shop, right? And they ask me, well, why aren't you saying anything about the cookie shop? You know that this is suspicious, this and that. My thing about it is, I have not heard anyone implicate the cookie shop. I think I've said that, like, I have not heard that. And I've heard names. I've heard people say names, and I'm talking about people that are close I'm talking about work officers. I've heard some names said. Of course, I wouldn't get on here and say it. Thank you, D. Ray. I wouldn't get on here and say it because I'm not into hurting cases. Okay, that's why when you hear me be kind of mum about stuff, and hello, Willie Hall from over at Facebook. Um, when you hear me and I'm pretty mum about things, and I let each and every person have his or her own opinion. But when people try and sway me, you can't really. I kind of stand on what I feel because I know, I know what I know. So I mean, it's okay for people to have their opinions, and it's not up to me to try and convince anybody of anything. You know what I mean? That's not my job. The officers will, when they finish their investigation, they will release all, you all will know everything, right? But at this point, it's so much going on in this investigation. It's hard to keep up, you know. Mm-hmm. But that's why when people go, "What don't you? What about the cookie shop?" I've always said, in my opinion, because I have not heard no one has ever said that anything about the cookie shop. It don't mean nothing, but I've just never heard anybody say, well, it's a little suspicious, or you know what I mean, that I don't know about them. I've never even heard that. But in my opinion, like I've always said, so I can't say anything about the cookie shop. The only thing that I've ever said, and even if they told me something about the cookie shop, I couldn't say nothing. But the only thing that I've ever said, hello, Tam 08. The only thing, stop, Remy. The only thing that I've ever said was, I did not know who was employed in that cookie shop. I know that there are a lot of questions. I don't know who was employed there. I think I keep going back to, they said that the young lady that was up at the front was just employed there, right? For 2 weeks. She could have innocently said something. All those kids around that area knew each other, right? So maybe, if he called his cookies in, she could have, been starstruck or something and said something to somebody. But I also said, about Cornelius. Cornelius lived 4 minutes from that cookie shop. I put that out there. I was the one that put out there that he lived 4 minutes from the cookie shop. I said it. You hear anybody else say this? Because I put it out there, because I pulled it, right? So he lived 2 streets over from that cookie shop. So if he lived 4 minutes from the cookie shop, and he also, they say he washed cars. Now there was a car wash up the street. Who's to say he didn't see Dolph drive by and he got on the phone? Because all of those areas, you talk about Castelia, Orange Mound, all those areas are in very close proximity to that cookie shop. Who's to say he didn't get on the phone and call somebody? But for me, I think, and I could be wrong, but and nobody told me this. No investigator told me this. I think that he was, they was ready, because they were supposed to get him 2 days before, allegedly, you know. And I think they was just he frequented that area, and I think they was just waiting, because they knew he was going to be around the area, because that was the area he grew up in, and he frequented that area. He was kind of visible in that area, and I think they decided that they was going to, be ready, hang around and be ready. If they implicate the cookie shop later on, then hey, they will. But I have not heard anybody say anything about the cookie shop, so I can't accuse people of something and there's no proof of it. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, I can't just say, the only thing I've ever said was, for her safety, I wish Raven would back off some. I think I was saying the other day, a video I had to take down because somebody got in their feelings, so I had to take that video down. I was saying that for Raven's safety, I wish she would stop going. Maybe she should back off some. I know people want to defend their families, but I think for her safety, and even for her family's safety, she should back off and let the police do their job. That's what I think. I think she shouldn't be so visible on social media, and kind of allow them to do their job. And then once it is over, maybe, start back doing interviews. But you have a lot of emotions, and people are mad because, y'all, this investigation, absolutely, yes, Miss Kimberly, this investigation is weird, and people are emotionally unstable. You talking about some of these, you know, people that are involved that probably have not been picked up yet, emotionally unstable. They're mad. They get mad because they probably know how close it is for their life to be over, right? And so sometimes it's best to just chill out and not get on here and try and, defend your I know you want to defend your family, but just kind of chill out. Okay, you guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop the link for those of you all that are just coming into the chat. Please hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you would like your comments or anything read, you could send like a super sticker or something like that. Or if you just want to support the channel, Miss D said you got to run it through the paper shredder. That's right. That's what she said. You got to run it through the paper shredder. Also, if you would like to support the channel, you can support it via Cash App. I am going to drop the link. Why haven't the investigators grilled straight dropping Cornelius like they doing? Well, we don't really know, how the investigators have grilled straight dropping Cornelius. I think whatever, and this is just my opinion, I think whatever the investigators have done as it relates to straight drop and Cornelius, thank you, D Ray Promotions. Whatever they've done as it relates to straight drop and Cornelius, it must be working. Because I don't think the investigators are, what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't think that they're struggling in this case. Number one, I don't think they're struggling. Number two, I don't think they're flustered. Thank you, Miss Maria. I don't think they're struggling in this case. And I don't think that the investigators are flustered. Thank you, Miss Maria, for the $9.99 super sticker. Yeah, I don't think they're struggling, and nor do I think that they are flustered. I think the investigators are on point, and I think when all of this is over, you all are going to be very proud of the investigators. I think you're going to be proud of what they've uncovered. But at this point, the bloodshed has to stop because, like I said, one of the officers was saying today, a lot of these murders are retaliatory murders. And I didn't know that because, I didn't know all these new gangs. Like, people are talking about these new gangs and stuff that I didn't know anything about these new gangs until this Dolph situation. Really, I didn't. Like, these were like little gangs that nobody that were just like in hoods, like nobody really knew of. But with this Dolph situation, it's been a blessing and a curse because number one, the bad thing is a young man lost his life. That's the bad thing, right? Um, but because of that, that's why I say I think his spirit is still walking around. So many other cans of worms have been open, you guys. Um, so many other cans of worms have been opened that it's, I feel like when they finish, because you got the investigators and the agents and stuff working together to make sure that the streets are cleaned up. You know, I hear a lot of people want to say that, I hear a lot of people, want to say that the Memphis Police Department was involved. And, me personally, I don't know how that came about. I don't know. I'm sure it's something that started on social media, but I didn't know, and I definitely didn't know how people could just run with stuff, right? But as it relates to whoever this lady was that was supposed to be working in the cookie shop, that lady, they said, she was an undercover officer, right? And she was working in the cookie shop. I mean, to me, that's out of this world, because most police officers, when they need part-time jobs, you talking about places like Walmart, all of name these stores, these big name stores, that's got the money. They have a contract with the city or with the county or whatever, and they bring in these officers to work for them, and they pay them 30, at least $30 an hour part-time, right? Because they want a police officer working for them, right? So I don't think an off-duty officer, I know, would not be working in a cookie store because it has to be approved, number one. And I don't think the cookie store had a contract with the city to be able to bring in off-duty officers. They have to go through a lot when you're talking about secondary employment. Number two or three, okay, a TAC unit officer, and I think I've said this before, would not have been working. It's not, a TAC officer would not be working a undercover drug investigation. Okay, no TAC officer would do that. So when it was a young lady that reached out to me, right? I worked for the police department. I worked for MPD for many years. So I know that a TAC officer don't work undercover drugs things. They have another division that does that. The TAC unit is for like homeland security and hostage situations and things of that nature. I really feel bad because whoever put that out into the atmosphere really got the people confused. And I think it's a sad thing when people confuse people purposely. I think that's sad. That's right, Miss Lynn Smith. They have to get it approved. And so a lot of people don't really know the structure of a police department. Nobody, especially in government, wanted to do anything to Dolph. There are some people that wanted to do something to him. And like I said before, the people that wanted to do something to him, I'm going to say this, and it's kind of weird to me because I know how it goes, right? I know when you see a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, when you see certain people and they have different narratives, I understand how it goes, especially when it's a case of this caliber. Sometimes when you see people with like outlandish narratives and things of that nature, whoever is behind the situation and don't want to be found out, if they got money, and I'm just saying if allegedly, a lot of times they'll go get some interns, they'll go get their assistants, and they make fake pages. I'm not telling you no, I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I know because it happens. They'll go get fake pages, they'll get their assistants or them, but oftentimes it's their workers, and they'll put things into the atmosphere to try and confuse the people, you know. But MPD, in my heart, they're working too hard to get this case solved. And basically, it's nothing else to find out other than because they zoned in on all of their people. You know, they've really zoned in on all of their people. I think what they're doing now is they're trying to. The good thing about it is get all the players, not just the small people taking a fall or getting one or two people to take the fall. And I think that's the issue. Like when you have, especially like these OGs, I'll say that. You know, a lot of these OGs will tell these young men, you take the fall. They may have did the least, but they'll tell them you take the fall. And then you got the real people, the real shooters oftentimes, they're the ones that's out there left on the street. You know what I mean? So that's why I say it's got to be something, you guys, to stop this bloodshed. Okay. Black media, Michelle, what is it? Michelle Mitchell. Okay. You know, each and everybody is entitled to his or her own opinion, right? I don't try to change people's opinions because it's opinion. It is an opinion, but I kind of stand on what I believe because I know a lot of the facts, and that's not a fact. You got several different agencies that are working this case because this case is deeper than anybody would ever know, right? And I don't even want to know all the ins and outs of the case. I don't even think it's good to know. But I know that there are several different ones that are working this case. So that will let you know how deep this case is when you have to have several different ones working this case. Okay. Black media, I don't really think that the police is your enemy. Hi, Tam. Just stopping by to say hello and much love. Thank you so much, love. For those of you all that are just coming into the room, please like and subscribe. Please like the video. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Kim says, Persistent says, the only way the truth will come forward is by making them uncomfortable. Otherwise, they won't talk. They're not zoned in too much if they haven't made any more arrests. Well, Persistent, you don't really know what's going on in the case, right? Just because you don't see, the media would probably be the last people to know. If I tell you how deep this case is, I mean, you really don't know what's going on in the case. Black media, you said I'm the one of the people that's shooting them. Okay. Who said the police is my enemy? They are the ones got the shooting going. Okay. Lord have mercy. And that's another thing too, y'all. Like, it's a good thing that I meditated before I got on. Because like I said, I'd like for everybody to give their opinion. But you know, when they start putting a lot of comments in the comments, that they're trolls, right? Somebody's sending them. And here's the thing about that. I'm gonna get back to the shooting, but I gotta say this. A lot of these men send these women out. And I think I was talking about that the other day, how sad it is when a man can put a woman on a dummy mission, right? They don't know when to stop. You go get them, send them out like little puppies. And they going and they sick them on another woman. You go over there in her comments and you put all that stuff in there because you ma'am, that's if you're a man. That's if you're a man. Oh my God. she or he is definitely a troll, but I'll check it out to see if he is a he or a she when I get off of here. So I mean you're all in my comments. I think you need to go. I'm gonna see if it's a he or a she when I get off of here though. Because I like for people to have their opinions. Girl. Okay, y'all. I got that out of my comments because somebody sent her over here, and that's what I was saying. And it's more than likely another vlogger. You know what I mean? They ain't, woman or man enough to say it to me themselves. So they'll go and make about 10 or 15 fake pages and come over here because they know they're gonna get cussed out, right? So I just block them, or they'll let somebody else send them out to come over here. It ain't gonna change nothing. Or maybe it was like I said, it was an intern. I mean, that person was gone crazy in the comments. People already know what the truth is, right? A lot of people, if they got a mind, they pretty much know what the truth is, right? Or they have an idea, but it ain't nothing that's outlandish as saying police officers killed him. When the truth, they've already arrested two people. They didn't have to try to, she don't even know. See, a lot of people, because a lot of the blanks have not been filled in, people don't even know if these the young men that they have not even confessed. You know what I mean? Have not said something. So what that person is going to do is go make another page and come back over here, because that's what miserable people do. But I had a vlogger one time that went as far as sending me emails trying to threaten me. We found out who he was. I work in a correctional facility, and you are right. A lot of guys are doing life sentences for someone else, but once they accept that plea, it's their charge. Absolutely. It is their charge. And the sad thing about it is, and I think that's what's going on in this Young Dolph situation. People have convinced or tried to convince certain people, you go take that one for the team. And it happens all the time. That's sad when there's so many people mixed up in this situation, y'all. And that's why I say, like, as far as our youth and as far as our young men, their fathers are going to have to get back into the household, right? They're going to have to get back into the household because they're being misled. I've never seen anything like this before. Like, a lot of these OGs, that's right. Thank you, J Dub. A lot of these OGs are supposed to be guiding these young men right. Instead, they will send them out to do the crime, convince them, because you're a young man, you ain't been to jail a whole lot, you go take care of that for me, or will lie to them like somebody trying to backdoor them when it's actually their enemy. Or they'll tell somebody who has never even been to jail, you gonna get out because your record clean, you go take one for the team. That's what's going on in the streets, y'all. And so then when these young men go to jail, don't have nothing on their records. They might be a little quote unquote thugs, don't have anything on their record. Their OGs have told them to go take one for the team. They 19 years old when they go away for a crime that they did not commit. They know about it, but they didn't commit it. When they come out, they 38, 39, 40 years old. They go in at 19. They're already messed up in the head. It's a cycle. That's why I say we got to get our kids off of the street, because a lot of these Negroes that's in the street right now, they screwed up in the head. A lot of these OGs are messed up in the head. They'll say, well, I went and did time 20, 30 years. I went and did 20 or 30 years. You went and did 20 or 30 years, and a lot of them ain't gonna tell you. Miss Lynn knows she working in a correctional facility. They going back and forth to jail because they don't want to stay out of there with them men. I can't tell you how many times, y'all, that when young ladies will call, okay, well, Junebug, they got him in the hole. They had got him in the hole. We gonna get a lawyer. Kids screaming out in the background, ought to been tending to their children. But he done lied to her, like some of the officers or the correctional officers just don't like him and is messing with him. Okay? So he in the hole when he didn't tell her that there is no consensual sex in jail, period. There ain't no consensual sex. So if either one of them caught having sex and it's consensual, that is, they automatically get a rape charge, right? They paying extra charges on them for rape. So they ain't gonna tell, oh girl, baby mama that's on the outside, he gonna lie, I'm in the hole, they keep putting me in the hole because the officers hating on me. He ain't gonna tell you that he been caught having sex consensually. So when they would call the chief's office, because I was working as the chief's assistant, call the chief's office complaining, well, we're gonna get us a lawyer because they keep putting him in the hole. I'm looking at I'll go and look in the notes. I couldn't tell her that her man that she waiting on to get out, that she got them 7-8 babies by, keep going in the hole because he keep having sex with another man, which is why he keep going to jail. And that's what's going on. A lot of these people are a lot of these old so-called OGs, not all of them are so twisted. They screwed up in the head. They want to see other people's children screwed up in the head. They keep saying, well, the police doing me wrong, keep putting me in jail, where he going to store and steal a candy bar so he can get back in jail with the men instead of just being on the outside living his truth. So a lot of these elaborate stories that these folks come up with ain't the truth. And I'm telling you right now. Thank you, Althea. It ain't the truth. That's why I say, and when they go into these prisons, there's a lot of learned behavior. It is, especially when they go into them prisons. Like the county jail is more controlled, but when they go away in these prisons where a lot of these officers don't care, you got these young men that are on death row, they ain't got nothing to lose. They know they ain't getting out. So that's why I say, when I had somebody get on my laptop about, well, you just taking off a straight drop. No, I feel like straight drop should do his time for what he did, because he was definitely involved. Okay. But Straight Drop did not do this by himself. And Straight Drop was encouraged to do this. Somebody paid him, right? So he shouldn't have to go take that lick on his own. Because as I always say, if we get Straight Drop and the Corneliuses, because Cornelius ain't as innocent as y'all think he is. He ain't. But if we get the Straight Drops and the Corneliuses and the other young men y'all get ready to see and get got, and the Shondales and the Teases and all of them, if we get them and we don't get the root of this, which are the people that's in the background, then it's still a travesty of justice. And I keep saying that. We got to stop convincing these young men. Yes, they was involved. They go do their lick. But they need to start thinking about, maybe I wouldn't have been even caught up in this. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't have, if somebody had not paid them. They was encouraged to do it. And mental health is real. I think I was talking about that as with Straight Drop, right? Looking at Straight Drop's eyes. And I pay close attention to people's eyes, y'all. I do. I pay close attention to people's eyes. Like, I'm a peaceful person. I stay meditating. I can't deal with chaotic stuff all the time. Okay. I can't have anything around me constantly that constantly takes me off of balance. I can't do that. And a lot of people live their lives like that, and they wonder why things don't really work out for them. It's because they're always off balance. They always got chaotic people around them. There are a lot of traumatized people that don't know anything but chaos, right? And so a lot of people wonder why things don't line up for them all the time. It's because of them different spirits and energies and entities and them devils that people got around them. That's why when people start coming into my atmosphere, I have to wonder about, okay, who do they deal with? Because even though you don't allow them to bring them around you, It don't mean that those spirits ain't on them. Spirits do transfer, because y'all know we're in the spiritual warfare, right? And so a lot of people ain't where they could be or should be because they got the wrong entities around them. And you think about these young men, handsome young men that could have easily gone on to do great things. I bet they were talented. They was already talented. Straight drop. You know, a lot of people talk about his rap, but with practice, I mean, he was already doing pretty good. He had aspirations. But as I said, I know some people, I know somebody that personally knew Straight Drop, and they say he was a very quiet person, but he went through hell as a child. And you think about it now, you have not seen a support system with him or nothing. And when I'm hearing with some of the things that he possibly did, you got to know that something was wrong. That's why I said, you know what I'm saying? When I looked at his eyes, I saw something was not right, that it was some coldness there. But you got to know, a young man that young has already been through something. Before the person even told me, I knew he had been through a whole lot. So that's why I say, I get so pissed off. And I say these Negroes that think they can live their life and floss and brag about what they're doing for their children, sending their kids all to private school and flossing in line and stuff, while they messing up other folks' children because they're out in the street, right? So I just don't put people on pedestals. Okay. I just don't, because I feel like we're not trying to get to the root of the problem. We kind of put people on pedestals if we think they got money. They get on TV, and I ain't talking about no specific person. They live lies and stuff. They floss, but they're messing up young men. And that their goal is that's probably a strategy, especially if they might have some talent. It's probably a strategy to mess them up so that they won't surpass them. They know people like the next best thing, the youngest thing that's coming. And that's why a lot of these old people that are in the industry are targeting and messing up these young boys. If they can't control them one way, they'll control them another way. Okay, if they get them on drugs and crash them out, and that's what's happening. Get them to do your dirt. You know what I'm saying? I was listening to one of my friends, an officer. That's you're right, Miss Lynn. All of the talent is locked up behind bars. I was listening to one of my friends the other day and talking about this particular person. Okay, he's very talented. He said, but that's a dangerous young man. They got him hitting licks everywhere. Don't even know his life is over because them folks done zoned in on him. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why I say, y'all, and I ain't got no issues with it. Anytime you could be out being a hitman for somebody and you ain't got no issues with it, it's something not right. And you know, people say, well, that's a serial killer, that's this, but the people that are behind it, that are funding these folks, that is the problem. They don't deserve to stay on the outside. They don't deserve to be on the outside. Because as I say, if you get somebody some money and they ain't right psychologically, a fool with money is dangerous. And that's what's going on. These folks doing some criminal, heinous stuff. But we kind of put them on pedestals because we believe their lies. You know what I'm saying? Like in the media and stuff. We believe that. And they're messing our children up. We ain't got no business even supporting them, period. We should not be supporting them. But even the people that are on the street that are not celebrities, a lot of these OGs, for these young men, a lot of them go and do something. When they thinking about going and crashing out, because a lot of them are emotionally unstable. So they don't even understand rejection or anything like that. If a girl rejects them, they ready to pop her. They ready to kill her. But a lot of them that's got a little bit of a foundation, that still got some old grandmamas that taught them about the quality of life and stuff, but they still kind of got out in the street and stuff and doing bad. A lot of them will go to their OGs and talk to their OGs before they go hit licks and stuff. Instead of their OGs gearing them right, they'll gear them left. They'll tell them to go pop. They'll tell them to go do it because number one, they might be jealous of the person. So we ain't really even got nobody. Whereas when I was coming up, The OGs didn't let these kids get involved in no stuff. As a matter of fact, they told them to get their tails home. They didn't even let them stand around them because they ain't want no kids standing around them. But now a lot of these kids are messed up because of what's going on in the environment, y'all. I have never in my life, you're talking about a lot of damaged kids. I have never in my life, like I have now, but it was happening before, even when I started at the police department, but it's happening more now than ever, seeing so many kids that are a result of incest. Okay, y'all wonder why. And this is why we're seeing a lot of bloodshed in the street too. A lot of these young adults are angry. Their mothers already knew. You know, these girls are getting men out of jail that's been in prison for 25, 30 years. I'd be scared of a man that's been in jail that long because I don't know what his habits are. They meeting them somehow before they get out. When they come out, they ain't even had no interest in her until they found out she had some little boys. You know, I have a friend that works for DCS, Department of Children's Services. She said, Tamra, I have never in my life. She said, you remember that when we was growing up, they always said, watch the little girls. You know, you can't let the little girls sit on nobody's lap. We always was protective of the little girls, right? Thank you, Marvin Johnson, for the super sticker. She said, but now, she said, now, Tamra, they using the little boys. She said, and you wonder why we got homicidal maniacs out there. Mama, thugs, quote, flat out hardcore thugs, okay? Molesting and raping their girlfriends, gold teeth, gold mouth, hardcore thugs, messing over their women, little boys. I think I spoke about when I worked when I was working for MPD, when I first started working for MPD, I was I was pregnant, so I was a transcriptionist, right? And that was my first time working for a police department. And there was this man that came up there about, I'll never forget. I remember his name to this day, right? He lived in the Binghamton area here in Memphis. 36 years old at the time, drop dead gorgeous, right? His brother had walked in on him having sex with his teenage daughter. And when his brother walked in on him having sex with her, he actually called the police on him. And when he called the police on him, the guy was brought down. When he walked in, I thought his brother was lying. Lord knows I did, because he was very handsome, a thugged out, handsome, tall dude. Thank you for the $5 super sticker, Marvin. And come to find out, this man in Binghamton, in Memphis, was having sex, having intercourse with his daughter. Her mother, she was sent to live with her dad, who was living with his mama when she was 10 years old, because her mother went into a depression. And she said when she first started living with her dad at 10, her daddy started having intercourse with her black folks. Black, young black thug, 36 years old at the time, right? I mean, absolutely drop dead gorgeous. He confessed to doing it, but you know, it psychologically messed me up, because when the detectives broke him down when he admitted to it, and then they brought the young lady in there who was 16 at the time. She said she told her grandmama her daddy was having sex with her. And she said her grandmama, which was his mama, said, shut up, don't say that about your daddy. She said, so she never said nothing else. He was having sex with her from 10 years old all the way on up until his brother walked in. And I always remembered his name, even now, when I spoke about it the other day, because when I was working for MPD, I could go in there and pull up reports that officers took, right? And even now with the new system I got, a sister can go back in and pull up some reports. So I was looking in, the system the other day, because like I said, I was always going to the system to see if he had new reports, because there has been a serial rapist in Binghamton for over 10 years that was never caught. And in my mind, I always felt like it happens every summer. That might have been him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the area that he was from. And when I looked in the system, I saw where he has a girlfriend. He was living with a girlfriend, had another report for a couple years back. And he's older now, almost 50, and still doing the same things. He had a girlfriend, his girlfriend's mother filed a report on him because her son, who is in a wheelchair, was born with a defect, can't walk. That's 8 years old. The mother said, this is girlfriend's mother now from a couple years ago, said that she went over there to visit the little boy and he was complaining about his butt was hurting. So she said she felt like something was wrong. So her daughter was at work while she done left him at home with the child. See, she don't know about what he was doing to his daughter some years earlier. She don't know he's a predator. So she said she took the child with her and started talking to him and asking him why was his boo-boo hurting, because the child is a paraplegic. I mean, he can't walk. He was born with a defect. And he said every time he has to wear a pamper. He said every time, I won't say his name, changes him, he pokes in his butt. But that's what I'm talking about. You have sick men that we consider OGs. Now, he's a thug over there in Binghamton, a hardcore, straight up thug. But he's also incestuous, raping his daughter, and then poking in his girlfriend's baby's butt that's 8 years old that can't even walk because he changed him. He poking his butt to the that I was reading in the report. The grandmother said when they took him over to rape crisis, his little butt was just raw. But see, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. And so you have a little boy, you have a little girl. I mean, she's not a little girl now. His daughter, who was 16 at the time, ain't no telling what kind of psychological problems she's having because of her dad having sex with her. She might be, hopefully by the grace of God, she's not. But when you see a lot of girls that are promiscuous, that are out there angry, that are out there doing a lot of this heinous stuff, it's because of their background, y'all. And you got people who are in positions that could help them. Instead of saying they're whores, that is you. Why would a 14, 15-year-old girl be overly sexual? Instead, we calling them A's and B's and H's and things of that nature. We're not looking at they 15, 16-year-old girls. Why would they be overly sexual? So as a woman, I always look past that because I know what go on. They can't report that stuff on the news because of the privacy laws. But the rape crisis and sex crimes is loaded to the capacity every single day with children. Do y'all understand me? So the streets the people gonna keep getting wet up in the streets, y'all. And it seems like as time goes on, it gets worse. As time goes on, it get worse, y'all, with what's going on as far as these children. And we're getting the brunt end of it in the streets because these kids, there's a lot of turmoil. And on the flip side of that, you have some parents who believe in giving their children everything. No matter what they do, they can't tell them no. You setting them up now. You know, we used to have games where, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. He said, we used to have games where a kid, when you would compete, one win and one lose, right? But when you lose, that's what makes you want to do better so that you can finally be a winner. But now these kids, they got to win. No, we're not going to have it. They have games now where both of them win, even if one lost. And so these kids don't know how to accept failure or loss. They're not conditioned. That's why when they lose, they spraying up the whole place. I lost. And the winner shot up the whole place. Because a lot of times y'all, it's just something going wrong. And you have to think about, there are so many studies that are done on human beings. And a lot of these lawmakers and stuff, and a lot of these people that we have in position, they know that. They know what could happen when they put certain things into play. Well, we're just going to let one win. No, you lost, son. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna go and you're gonna practice so that you can be a winner. Because if you keep going, you will be a winner. But these kids they're just not taught a lot of things anymore. And then they're exposed to too much. And that's why I don't like it when I hear people, especially for me, with, a lot of men, right? I know for a lot of women, and I've taught my daughters this, right? Because I have daughters. I've taught them this. You don't get any gratification out of hearing no man talk bad about no woman. For me, I don't, especially if it's a woman he's been with. That's actually a turnoff, especially if she's laid down and had children for him. But a lot of women get a lot of gratification out of seeing other women hurt. And I think that's why I'm so what of a loner. I'm a loner anyway because I have to think. Okay, I don't like no chaos. I can't have it around me. Okay, I just can't because I can't be off balance. But a lot of women get a lot of gratification out of seeing other women hurt. As I was saying earlier, some of these people will send these women out to go to other blogs. I can't understand that men don't do stuff like that. You go over there, you harass somebody, and a lot of women don't have no issues with doing it. They will jump and do it. How you doing, love? And a lot of women how you doing, love? Issues with doing it. I think you need to turn you're gonna have to turn your TV off. How you doing, love? You're gonna have to turn your TV off. I think you need to turn your TV off. You're gonna have to turn your TV off. Can you hear me? Okay, I don't know what happened with that, but I think he's having issues. I'm going to drop the link again. If anybody wants to come up, you could definitely come up and let's talk about this. What is it going to take? I think just in the wake of the Young Dolph's case, Young Dolph's case has opened up a lot of cans of worms. And even with whatever you all are getting ready to see in the near future, as far as new arrests and things of that nature, because the investigators and the federal agents are on top of this, y'all. They are definitely on top of it. It still don't really make me feel good because you're talking about a lot of young men who are getting ready to go away for the rest of their lives. These are young men, that are our future, right? The military, and that's true, Summer. Why not? You have a lot of people out there that like to kill. Why not? I'm not saying go to the military to kill, but why not speak about putting them into the military? At least they can go and make a future. Make something out of themselves by going and getting a military background. Learning the art of certain things. Military will put them through school. But a lot of younger people now are traumatized because you think about now, a lot of the parents, you guys, you can't even talk to the parents about nothing. I remember when my daughters were younger, for me, I don't apologize for it, but I never in my life allowed my girls to go spend no nights at nobody's house other than my mama's house. No slumber, all the slumber parties was at my house. Their friends, they had a normal life. Their friends could come over, but I just did not know. I just knew it wasn't going to be no different men running around my house. So, and I didn't go to sleep until the last child went to sleep. Okay. Then they couldn't lock no doors in my house either because they had to leave the doors open because I had to be able to look at them, walk in there and peek in there and see what they were doing. But now parents are trying to be like friends to their children. They feel like being a parent is giving them anything that they want. They feel like being a parent is giving their children anything that they want, and they're not watching their kids. And the sad thing about it is a lot of these kids have anger, especially when they're young men and they're being molested, y'all, because a lot of young men have been molested. They are being molested more than really the young girls now. They are. and they grow up, especially if it happens when they're a little older, they're growing up extremely angry. That's why I say, y'all, that's why you're starting to see, and when they have all that anger like that, we see the brunt of it, the citizens in the street. um Lynn Smith says, you are absolutely right. I was the same way with my children. Hello, Trey. Right. And this bloodshed has got to stop. And so that's why when I going back to Makita's cookies, that's why I'm not, if I have not heard the police say that the cookie shop had anything to do with Young Dolph's murder, I can't put that on them, because it's still an ongoing investigation. I can't put that on them and say that and then put somebody's life in danger, right? Like I said, I've heard some names, but I have not heard the cookie shop name. It don't mean anything. But even with the names that I've heard, when some people get on here and they be right on point, you just hear me say, "Oh, okay," you know. Um, but I can't put the cookie people in danger. Y'all, hold on. Y'all, it snowed yesterday. I got a little head cold. Like it had been hot in Memphis, and then it snowed yesterday. I walked outside of my office. I kid you not. I had been working like a dog, doing some background checks. Walked outside of my office and my car was filled up with snow. I said, "Oh my God," it was covered with snow. I was like, "Oh my God, it was just hot the other day. I was wearing flip-flops." Trey, they know, what city are you in? I was molested in foster care. And okay, Kimberly. That's another thing. Kimberly says she was molested in foster care. A lot of children are being molested in foster care. It's still happening, and they're way more devious and strategic with it too, Kimberly. There was in the state of California, they had lawmakers that was getting into office at one time, but you had a lot of different organizations that started speaking out about it. And when they was getting young ladies, like, how kids 14, 15, 16 years old, their parents call the police on them when they start smelling themselves. Well, a lot of lawmakers had gotten together and put some laws in place, right? When the police was called, the police would come out to the house. If it was a beautiful young girl, they would take the girl in custody and say they was going to take her to juvenile. And then somehow the girl was put into a home or something that they was doing, but somehow the girls was ending up in human trafficking. So that's why I say too, that's why when that lady was getting on here talking about I'm covering up for somebody, I'm for what's right. I don't cover up for anybody. Because if there were any, bad police officers that was involved in this Young Dolph situation, if there was any corrupt police officers, well then if she's got some proof of it, instead of getting on my page harassing me, what she need to be doing is going and reporting it to the FBI. If she's got the proof of it, it ain't nothing I can do about it. She needs to take it to the people that matter. If you don't trust the police, take it above the police. That's if you got the proof. But but evidently she didn't have no proof because she was on my page trolling, trying to convince me of something. So that's why, y'all, like I said, a lot of what we're seeing in the streets is a result of what has gone on in a child's life. I'm not excusing them. I don't give them any excuses. The majority of what you all are going to see in this situation with the Young Dolph's case, a lot of the people that you all are going to see go away are going to be young adults unless they start getting the root right. These kids start telling on the root, and the sad thing about it is a lot of them don't even realize that they're really safer where they are now, because I know people were saying, well, if they were on the outside, they risk retaliation. Now, if they was on the outside, they really risk the people that sent them to do this situation to Young Dolphs, to murder Young Dolph, they risked them hiring somebody to hit them because they didn't know this case was going to get as hot as it is. Us, different people being on here talking about this Dolph situation, and people are so pathetic, a lot of them. They thought they were such gangsters, right? They was getting on here. They didn't want no bloggers talking about Young Dolph's case. They was threatening bloggers. They was threatening to kill them. They was touching people out in the street. The only thing they did was help the investigators, right? Because I did a blog one day, and I think it was like the very first one that I did. Somebody said, we're going to see how long it's going to take somebody to threaten you, right? Because, terroristic threats is against the law. And I kid you not, I had that blog up or the video up maybe 2 days. And somebody who thinks that they are a gangster, now that was really an outside source. Those emails and that other stuff I was getting is another vlogger. That was another vlogger. They know I wasn't playing with them. They hear me. They know I know it was them. They ain't did their crazy stuff no more. But one of those threats I got was an outside source. That the people, anyways. But a lot of the leads that the investigators have been able to get have been because of these ignorant young men, no guidance at all, a false sense of security, like I said, people giving them a false sense of security, people gassing them up, and they led the investigators right to them in their camp with the ignorant stuff that they was doing. Because believe it or not, whether people want to admit it or not, when these folks was getting threats, they was reporting it. Because at this point, they didn't really know who was involved. And once you report something and you give proof of a threat, the investigators ain't gonna do nothing but go and look at your social media page, and then they're able to take it from there and see who it is without you ever even knowing it, without even getting your computer or anything. And so a lot of the leads that these officers got, when people say, well, I don't think they got anything concrete, these folks led them right to them. They led them right to them. You're right, Trey. They were manipulated. And so once they started leading them right to them, over 300 people was detained, and the rest is history. But you have to wonder about, they had Cornelius very early on. Ain't gonna say nothing about that. I watched your very first vlog, and I've been following you ever since. Thank you, Miss Lynn Smith. Thank you so much. Yeah, but that's why I say, y'all, a lot of this bloodshed has to stop. I think with Young Dolph passing away, with Young Dolph passing away, I won't say passed away, he was murdered, right? With Young Dolph being murdered, it opened up a whole lot of cans of worms. It was extremely sad. It is, because you have a young man that is gunned down, basically for jealousy. Okay, I don't care what nobody say. It all goes back to jealousy. It all goes back to jealousy. Hello, Sheikah. But that's still basically for nothing. Now, like I said, with the cookie shop, I have not heard anybody other than on the vlogs say anything about the cookie shop. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know who worked in that cookie shop. I don't know. But I have not heard anything about anybody that owns the cookie shop. So I can't say that. Why wouldn't anyone want Dolph murder solved? Well, Lynn, I think there are some people that have a lot to lose. Okay. I think there are some people that have a lot to lose. And how am I trying to put it? Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. There are probably some people that have a lot to lose, and so they don't want it solved. They want these young men to take their fall, and they should, because they did this. They need to, right? But y'all, it's bigger than what y'all would ever think. Okay, and when I say stuff, I don't say it to just be saying it. I don't cap or nothing like that. It is, and I want the root of the problem. When you have several different federal agencies that are involved in this, it's got to be big, right? And so that means that they see a bigger problem. Okay, the feds always kind of follow the money, and if they feel like a lot of money is involved, they're gonna follow that trail and get to where the money is being produced at. So I'm through. That's all I'm saying about that. Honestly, Dolph should have never been hands on with a lot of things, especially coming to Memphis. Yeah, I would have to say, Trey, I think he was a little naive as it relates to um I think, and if you can ask any Memphian, right? If he had been on the other side of South Memphis or in North Memphis, I think anywhere else, he would have been surrounded. He would have been, because from my understanding, they were supposed to try to take him out 2 days before they did. That's something I heard. And that he had a lot of people around him, right? So that leads me to believe that he was being followed, because where was he at that they wanted to take him out? They was going to try to take him out 2 days before, but they couldn't because he had quite a few people around him. And I even heard one source say, possibly, it was wherever he was at, maybe it was a child around or something like that. But they say he had quite a few people around him, and they didn't do it. So you have to think about that. That's if that's true. Okay, that's if that's true. That's something I heard. You know, Supposed to take him out exactly 2 days before, and he had too many people around him. So it makes me think somebody was watching him. You see what I mean? They couldn't do it because people was around him. So somebody was watching him. Okay. So that's why I'm not so bought on the cookie shop being involved, because it seems like he had been being watched for at least 2 days. Okay. That's what it appears, if that is true, right? I'm not saying that the cookie shop wasn't involved. I'm just saying I have not heard that they was involved. Or somebody in that cookie shop. As I said, I don't know who worked in that cookie shop. They had employees, a few that worked inside of that cookie shop. So I don't know the people that worked in there. If Black Youngster goes down and the death penalty still stays, if Black Youngster goes down and the death penalty still stays, will stop. No, y'all, I think they put that death penalty on the table for a reason. They put that death penalty on the table for a reason. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And it's definitely on the table. And I don't know who's gonna be, go down. But it's definitely gonna be a lot more. I just don't see them not fighting for their lives too, unless they themselves make some type of agreements. I don't know. Do you think that this death was having to do with the buying of property? I heard that somewhere. No, because even with his properties, now his properties will, in Tennessee, your next of kin is your sole heirs, right? His children would get those properties. So whatever was his and whatever he didn't have in his will, it goes to his children. And he said himself that if something happened to him, then his children gonna know that he was their daddy, right? He said, all of this jewelry that I got on right now, all of this stuff y'all see on me, he said, it's gonna circulate through all through, my sister and my brothers and my dad and all them. All this is going to circulate through them. So that let me know he has something on paper, and a will supersedes everything, right? In Tennessee it does. His children are his heirs if there wasn't a will anyways. But he said that he had his children set up, and he took care of his family. Dolph's dad lives in a because I pulled this myself. I didn't pull up his mother's stuff, but I did his dad, right? I was able to find it. His dad lives in a beautiful home on the outskirts of Memphis, in a suburban area in Memphis. I'm not gonna say which area, but it's a suburban area in Memphis. Memphis is a very nice home, you know. And his dad even cried and said, he didn't do right because his dad was on drugs, and his mother, when he was growing up. That's why his dad's mother had to raise them. But he cried and said, and in an interview, how many people can say that they got a child that's got them living like I'm living, pay my bills every single month? And I feel like he was crying because he felt like I wasn't worthy of it, because as Dolph said he felt like his parents chose drugs over him and his brothers and sisters. And so I think that's why his dad was so emotional when he was talking about how good Dolph had him living, because he probably felt like I ain't worthy of this, but my son still got me living good. And I'm telling you, the house beautiful because I saw it. I don't think that, I've heard people get on here and say, I think, Dolph, daddy and mama had him killed. People are sick. To make an example out of whoever in charge, Dolph did a turkey giveaway 2 days before in Memphis, and on that Monday was okay. So if he did, because I think Dolph was murdered on a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. That means that they must have been watching him. If that was 2 days before that Monday, that means that they was watching him that Monday and had plans to take him out, and it was too many people around. They probably knew he had some hitters around him. If they hit him, they was gonna get wet up too. So that's why they didn't do it. That's what leads me to believe they probably have been watching him from that point on. Because now I'm gonna say this, and that's only because somebody sent me a message and said, and I don't know who it was, and I'm not putting anybody. I don't know who. I don't remember the name or nothing. Okay, but somebody said to me that they feel like Dolph had been followed from a young lady's home, that he had spent the night with this young lady, and allegedly the night before, and somebody watching the young lady's house because they knew he was in town, and it angered them. Now that's, I don't know how true that is. That's just a message, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I didn't pay, that's what somebody said in a message to me, a random person. Like, I don't know who the person was, but yeah. That's sad. He couldn't even live his life right. He felt guilty. His dad, yeah, I think his dad felt guilty. That's why I say, y'all, I'm not taking anybody off of the, let me just say this. I guess nobody is off of the table, but you have to think about, if somebody tried to have that man assassinated 2 times before, I just don't see it being that far from there. I don't know who tried to have him assassinated before, but I just don't see it being that far from that. I just don't think it's as complicated as people making it. I think because the detectives are and the federal agents are doing their investigation, and they're in so deep, there are a lot of blanks that are not filled in, and it keeps everybody curious, right? It keeps all of us curious because there are a lot of things I don't even know. But they know. But even with there being a lot of blanks that have not been filled in, I don't think it's gonna be that complicated. Like, as far as all of these elaborate ideas, like the person had gotten on here earlier and was saying something about they thought the police was involved. Like I said, I do know when people don't want folks to know the truth, they make fake pages. They get interns to make fake pages. They get assistants and stuff if they have them to make fake pages. They get people from family members to make fake pages. And I'm not talking about in this Dolph's case. I'm talking about in any situation, and try to twist the narrative. Right? That's what happens oftentimes. I just kind of stand firm on what I know. I tend to believe what some of my friends say, and simply because I know they know. And I don't know everything because they're not gonna tell me everything about their investigation. I don't want to know. But I just know it's not gonna be that complicated, right? And when I say they spinning. I ain't, that's the truth. Trula Mafia has members on the police force. Well, and that's another thing. People talk about patrolmen, right? Patrolmen patrol the streets, but they have no control over investigators. Like they don't even have the rank to get into a case, or they can't determine any factors in a case. And when investigators go out to the street to investigate, patrolmen are not a part of that. So if you're saying that, Trula Mafia has family members on the police force, I think because you have other agencies, you got two different federal bureaus I'm hearing that's involved in this case, right? So I don't think nobody is gonna want, because it's not like these agencies get along that well. So I don't, you know what I mean? Because you talking about a lot of egos. The Memphis police investigators feel like the FBI, TBI, which is the FBI. And I'm not saying that they have a love-hate relationship. I'm just saying, I don't think nobody's gonna want to cross nobody, because you got these different agencies with no loyalty. They're all coming together for one come and go, and that is to clean up the streets, right? Because this Dolph's investigation led to something way bigger than what people would ever know. It's gonna be some folks to go down, bless their little hearts, that didn't have anything to do with Dolph's situation. They was just affiliated with the wrong people that was involved, and they was doing some dirt. So they got to go away for a long time. Trey, yeah, there are a lot of fake narratives. They planned this because of how everyone was dressed, but I can't understand why. Okay. It would be hard for you to find anybody who lives in Memphis that would say that the cookie people were involved. The streets know what happened. Yeah, make it make sense. I think, make it make sense. I think, and like I said, I have not heard anybody that I know at the police department say that they think that the cookie shop is involved. I haven't heard them say anything about the cookie shop. But I think as it relates to the citizens of Memphis, for some reason, I don't know why. The people are kind of, I don't know. The atmosphere is kind of divided for some reason, even though no one has presented any proof that the cookie shop has anything to do with anybody. I think, maybe they've been looking at social media. Maybe people speculate. They feel like, if it has to be this. How did people get the drop on him? It has not registered with them that they have been watching him for a couple days, right? So if they was watching him for a couple days and it actually went down like what somebody had put in my comments, and I looked at I looked at the profile and stuff. I kind of looked at it. Um, it was an older lady. Um, it appeared to be, anyways. Said that Dolph, had been with some girl, and because he was in town, some some people knew he was in town, and they what it was, they knew he was going to go be with that girl. I don't know. And they followed him from there to that cookie shop. You think about people go, well, why didn't they wet him up at the gas station? It was a lot of people out there at the gas station. You saw a lot of people. Um, if they was at that gas station, um, okay, how am I trying to put it? Um, okay, maybe I should. I'm not gonna say that. Okay, nobody talk about the cop getting shot at in front of his house. Yeah, they've been very quiet about that. I have not heard anything else about that. Raven needs to stop talking. She's going to talk herself into being a person of interest. Yeah, I think the thing about Raven is, I think for her own safety, I think that she should um just kind of back away. Like I said, I was looking at her on another show the other day, and as a woman, seeing her up there by herself defending her family, it didn't look healthy to me. I know anybody would defend their family, but it just didn't look healthy the way she was going at all these people coming at her. Like, that's got to be a stressful thing, because that's chaotic. You talking about a lot of different people on the internet, a lot of different spirits and entities and mental illness and stuff. You don't even know who these folks are behind these computers, right? And you're defending your family. You don't know these people. You don't even know what they look like in real life, because a lot of them have avatars, and it's not even pictures of themselves. So I wouldn't waste my time going back and forwards with a lot of people that are probably mentally ill anyways, because the only thing that's going to do is keep us stressed out. It just didn't look good to me. It just didn't look healthy to me. And in real life, because of what's going on in Memphis, I would step back from that until all of this is over. And then once the situation is solved, because the people are on their case. I done told y'all these folks the zone in on their targets now, and they own their stuff. Um, then I probably would, but I wouldn't defend. I would not defend anything else anymore. I wouldn't. I would just, because at this point for her, I think it could be too dangerous. I wouldn't do it. If you let the investigators do their job, let them handle it. They're working. Y'all gonna see some more people gonna be arrested too. I just hope they finally get to the right ones. That's what I hope, because you see all these young boys going to jail because they've been misled. That's one thing. I would like to see some of these Nick Rose that sent them out to do it. Because really they are the culprits. Really they are. As long as you got people, and I'm not talking about one person. I'm just saying anybody funding illegal organizations, rather you for whatever reason, that's a problem. That's what keeps crime going. That's what I mean. So once they can tap in and dismantle that, and regardless of what people say, ain't nobody power or something. When you have money, it can help you fight. But when them folks want to get you, they're gonna get you. And if they have to, one thing about the government, their money is unlimited. And a lot of times when they know that you're corrupt, I keep going back to like when you've seen, because a lot of people kind of want to mimic themselves after the mob. They look at a lot of these mob movies and stuff, where these mob people were going to court, and they felt like they was beating the American government and all that. One thing about the government, even with people that have a lot of money, their money is unlimited. And a lot of times with their strategy is to drain you of every nickel. And I don't know a whole lot of people whose money is unlimited, okay? Because they'll keep pulling you back in. They'll keep find all your dirt and keep pulling you back in until they drain you and you can't hire that high price lawyer. And and you have to be careful too. A lot of times, I'm just saying, what happens with a lot of these young men, their lawyers will start backing up especially if they got a little dirt on them, because a lot of times the government go start finding stuff that they've done too. They don't even want to take the case no more. So that's why I say, if they want to get you, they gonna get you. And I think in this case they see a bigger issue. I don't know what it is. I just know it's got to be big for two different federal agencies to be involved. Okay. And I just got a feeling they're gonna start draining the well after a while. If they can't lock some people up, they're gonna start draining some stuff. So you guys, I'm gonna drop the link for anybody that wants to come up. You could definitely come up. I guess we've kind of been really just kind of talking about everything tonight, y'all. Tonight I was supposed to have a celebrity. I've dropped the link, so if anybody want to come up, y'all can come up. I was supposed to have a celebrity guest, y'all, but at the last minute, he wasn't feeling well, and I understand. But y'all are gonna be. He's gonna come on when he starts feeling better, probably one day next week. Um, and y'all are gonna be so surprised, and I'm gonna give you all the opportunity to ask some questions and stuff. But he's gonna weigh in on this Young Dolph situation. I ain't gonna tell y'all who he is yet, but y'all, everybody is gonna know him for sure. When you see him, you're gonna definitely know him. And he's gonna weigh in on the Young Dolph situation, and what we're looking at as far as on TV and all of that. But I just dropped the link. For those of you all that are just coming into the room, please hit the like button. For those of you all that are just coming into the room, please hit the like button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Miss Gail, thank you for the $20 cash app. And Mr. Unri, thank you for the $10 cash app. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. For those of you all that are just coming in, please hit the like button. I have not looked to see how many likes I got. I'm gonna see how many likes we got. And I just dropped the link. So if anybody wants to come up here, you could definitely come up here, y'all. I know I have been staying on here for like hours and hours and hours at night, but I said I was gonna start trying to limit like my time, because I know we could stay on here all night sometimes, right? Especially if we're talking about something good. But I said I was gonna start trying to limit my time to like 2.5 hours, because you know my cases and stuff have picked up again. Like when I work my cases down, a lot of times I have a lot of free time, right? Because I'm a business owner. I work my own business, so I could sit on here when I've worked my cases down. But since I've added new services to my investigative company, um, a sister bank working all day, and I just took some new contracts. And like I said, I was kind of behind, and it kind of had me stressed out because I had gotten a new system, and I promise you, I felt like I had to get cleared by the United States, because they came out to my office to make sure I had all kinds of locks on my doors, and a security system and cameras, and all of my file cabinets had to have double locks on them because of the type of information that my new system run. That thing gives bad to the bone. I'm telling you now. It costs a sister a lot to have it. And then they had to walk through my office, and then I had to do another walkthrough virtually. And then they popped up I was over there working today, and they sent somebody out to my office just to pop up on me, like to make sure that I was doing just investigative business in my office. I said, my God, if I had known that getting this system was going to cause me that kind of trouble, I never would have got it. I got some pretty good systems, but this system just pulls up everything in one click. So I promise you, it took me a long time to get approved for it. And then I have a fingerprint. I got a fingerprinting system that is hooked up to TBI. I started doing that too. I added that to my investigative company. So I've kind of been, working and getting some stuff in order, and then I'm gonna look at training some more PIs. Lord have mercy, because I have had some people. I'm gonna have to bring some people on, because I've taken more contracts to do background checks. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this right here is for free. Those background checks that y'all be getting, off a line, those things don't really even be accurate. Okay, I don't know why they allow these companies to sell it, because there's certain information that they can't give out. Okay. Thank you, Miss Lynn. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's what, you know what, when I was getting frustrated, because I was like, I just took some contracts and I need to finish these background checks to get it back to these companies. A lot of temporary services reach out to me to do background checks on their employees and stuff. And my mama was like, just let it do it. Just let them folks come in there and make sure that their office and stuff is secured, because of the type of information that I'm able to pull. You know what I mean? Using that system. Everybody don't have that system. And my God, they went, oh Lord. I said, how often y'all gonna do pop-ups on me? They said, we're gonna do pop-ups on you regularly. Anybody with this system you got, we have to do pop-ups on, to make sure that you are operating in the capacity that you should be operating with in this office, because I am an investigative company, to make sure, like in my back area, in my office, in the back area, like the system cannot be on any of my computers in the front, because people come into the front door. So the system has to be on the computers in my back office, which is in my office, that nobody can go in, because even though I have locks on my computers, the information that I'm able to pull up on that system, they don't want anyone around the computers. Jesus Christ. It is spring break. Spring break, parents, please be very attentive to. That's right, be attentive to your children. Also, you guys, I've been looking at, I'm going to start back doing, y'all know that I have always did shows dating back 8 years ago, until I got drained on human trafficking. And a lot of people don't know, back when I first started doing them 8 years ago, there was a human trafficking hub inside in St. Louis. And what Black people don't understand is, see, the news media don't put this out. That's why my media always put it out, because I've always had a local show around the Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi area. And I just bought, we're getting ready to buy into Louisiana and into Alabama, right? And I had families, and I kid you not, coming from St. Louis, Missouri. There was a human trafficking hub where they were snatching up Black girls. That's why you saw Phoenix Colden. I know that was a national case. Shamika Cozy. You saw like young ladies like that going missing. And it's so easy to snatch up African American children. A lot of the young boys are being snatched up, but a lot of the young men, and people don't want to listen to this, because for some reason, even when I was talking about it 8 years ago, I had Black people calling me saying, oh, please don't talk about that, it's just too scary. And I was trying to put the information out there, but for some reason, as Black people, we don't want to digest stuff until it's at our front door. And it's been at our front door, right? They they snatch up a lot of young African American boys, because there is a such thing as organ harvesting. Like, people think that stuff is, oh no, that's not true. That's just, no, it's true. But in St. Louis, Missouri at the time, there was a human trafficking hub, and all of these young girls around the same age, even though they was, a lot of them was young adults, they looked similar in size and looks, and they was snatching them up and putting them into human trafficking, sex slavery. And at that time, it was in St. Louis. Now there's a hub here in the Tennessee area, but you would never, and they was coming to my media because they could not get the local medias in their areas to talk about it. And I guess I get real suspicious about that, because you have to understand, a lot of these people that we elect, a lot of these politicians are pedophiles, okay? So what they'll do is they'll start secretly making laws or less stringent for pedophiles. That's why you can see somebody and they molest and rape children all the time. They'll go and do 6 months and they get back out, because they secretly change laws and we don't pay attention. We got to pay attention to that, y'all, because our children are the future. And they snatch up Black kids because it's easier to snatch up a Black child, because they're not going to get the coverage in the media. If one of our children go missing, that child is not going to get the coverage like Natalie Hollowell. Natalie was way over there in Aruba, and you had the world news talking about her every day. But a child younger than Natalie, a black child, 5, 6 years old, they might put out a report for 2 minutes or less than that on the news, and you're not going to hear about it anymore. So that's why they snatch our children, because it's easier to snatch a black child. As I say all the time, a lot of these women don't know that these human trafficking rings, and now they're in just about every city and state. They'll sit in a parking lot, because most single women go to the grocery store and they will target a woman that they see with a lot of children. Okay. And they'll go, okay, she's got a lot of kids. They'll follow her in the grocery store, and one will walk up to her and distract her while the other one is luring her child out of the grocery store. It's happening every single day with black kids, but you're not going to hear about that in the news media. So I've always been extremely passionate about that. I get hired all the time, me and my team, to do missing children's cases, to look for missing children. It's very unfortunate, because the parents and stuff still have hope, but they target children that are younger children. I'm gonna tell y'all exactly what's going on. They target kids that are very, very young, kids that have not yet had sexual experiences, because they get more money for children that age. So what they do is, these human trafficking rings, they pay people to go out and target, and they have like a catalog. And they say, I want a child to look like this. I want it to have this feature. You got to make sure it's a virgin. So that's why you see so many younger kids, like 5, 6 years old, being snatched up, because what they do is they sell them, these billionaires. They'll say, I'll give you $100,000 to go get me a 5, 6 year old child that have not had sex. And these billionaires will pay that, and people will hire private investigators to look for their children, but their kids are actually shipped out to other countries, because a lot of these other countries marry children. I think at this point, and you're not going to hear about this in the media, a blonde hair, blue-eyed child that's about 5 or 6 years old can be snatched up and sold for about $500,000. And then that child is sold over, shipped, taken underground and shipped over in another country, and the people never see their children again, because these sickos want to marry and have sex with children. Okay, y'all, this stuff is very, very real. Like, I could talk about so much stuff, like, and I'm very passionate about it. For a long time I stopped doing missing persons cases because of how draining it could be. There's nothing like looking at a family coming in your office and saying, my child has, the child was reported missing. There is a police report on file, but we haven't heard anything in about 10 or 11 months, almost a year. We need an investigator to reignite this, look for our child for us, and it's a sad thing. That's our job. But the thing about it is, y'all, investigative work can be very expensive. You're talking about long hours of trying to follow leads and stuff, checking out human trafficking rings. Like, these young girls, especially these teenage girls, they probably have a new one now, but the main hub at one time was in Utah. Who would ever think to look at Utah, right? They would take these girls, they would snatch them up, take them underground in Utah, drug them for 30 they would drug them for 30 days, and then after 30 days these girls didn't even know who they was anymore, and put them out on the street to prostitute. A lot of people say, well, why didn't she find her way home? If you shot somebody up for 3 days, she's addicted. She's drugged. She's an addict now. They don't even know who they are anymore. This is what's going on. And believe it or not, a lot of these politicians that y'all elect and don't pay attention to are involved. I think I talk about this federal agent. He was a chief FBI agent. He's gone on, he's passed away. But the guy who trained me, who is now a PI, I told y'all my mentor and my trainer is an ex FBI agent, right? And the training, when he retired, he was the chief FBI agent for Tennessee. He was first for California, then they transferred him to Tennessee, and then he retired, right? Became a PI. He was one of the first ones, and that's why my mentor and trainer has been able to train me so good into doing research and things of that nature, because he trained him. But he was one of the first ones to go underground and find out that a lot of these children was going missing in these human trafficking rings because a lot of these politicians were involved. Like I said before, I think about the intelligence of the United States government, right? There is nothing they don't know. If I was y'all, I wouldn't let them put smart meters on my house. Do y'all know what they can do with smart meters? Do y'all know what they can do with smart meters? So there is nothing, or with smart anything. So there is nothing that they don't know. Okay? So that's why I can't understand why so many children and so many crimes go unsolved when it's easy for them to know what happened. And when they want to know, they somehow people be trying to figure out, oh my God, how they find out. Shoot. It's because when they want to find out, they got ways to find out. That's why I say, some people are twisted. The American government, it is not set up for the citizens to ever be smarter than the American government. Before a computer, before a system or anything is ever put out, it has to be approved by the American government, because they have to make something that could override that, where they can tap into anything. Okay, so don't ever think you can ever get away with nothing. That's why I say, it's a crime and a shame the way things go, because of their intelligence. And I'm not just talking about their, when I say intelligence, I'm not talking about, oh, that's an intelligent person. I'm talking about their intelligence of, as far as what they are able to do, as far as tapping into stuff and knowing everything. There should not be a child missing or a case unsolved. That's why, when people think they've gotten away with stuff, and all of a sudden they knocking everybody off. I wonder who told it. When they want to know, they know how to tap in and know. Nobody probably ain't told them. A leader can watch better from the rear. That's right. People would pay big money for organs for their loved ones, and for the, yeah, they do. That's why you don't need to. I think a young man said that before. I'm not telling you don't when you go get your driver's license and stuff, I'm not saying don't put on there that you're going to donate your organs, cuz I'm not saying that, but people do strange stuff. You all, I'm going to drop the link. We've been talking about just a lot of different stuff tonight, you guys. I just dropped the link. If anybody wants to come up, you all can come up. I think my subject was supposed to be, what is it going to take to stop the bloodshed? And I was supposed to have a special celebrity guest on here tonight, but he's going to come on one day next week because he got sick. And of course, I understand, because he had not been too long ago, got out of the hospital. So I can understand that. But I would have really loved for you all to be able to communicate with him and talk to him and ask him some questions, and you still will be able to. And he has been watching this young Dolph situation very, very closely. Okay. Yeah, he's been watching it very closely, and he has a lot of he can make a lot of, like, he can clear up a lot of stuff just from his expertise and stuff on this young Dolph situation. As for me, y'all, sometimes I be wanting to tell y'all more stuff as it relates to the Young Dolph's case, but I can't do that. I would never um say anything that would hurt a investigation. But the only thing I will say is Young Dolph is going to get justice. He's getting it for sure. Yeah, we gotta pray. He's definitely getting his justice. They are making sure that Young Dolph get justice. And not just Young Dolph, because there are a lot of unsolved situations out there that was probably connected to a lot of players in this situation. So not only is Dolph getting his justice, there are going to be quite a few more things to happen. I believe, and I'll just say, in my opinion, I believe the streets are going to be cleaned up to a degree when all of this is over. And I think even when y'all see some more stuff that's probably getting ready to happen, it's not going to be the end. It's still going to be some more stuff to go on. It might, even next year, I believe, when these people finish. So that's why I say it's a crying shame what people do for money, and in the end you're not going to even be out to be able to spend that money. You're going to be away from your family, and or especially ain't no telling what's going to go on. People start getting afraid, they take you out themselves, the very people that was trying to that was getting you to go hit them licks. But it's a shame that 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 year old young men are out there just killing people, and people are funding them and paying them up under the table to go do it. And these are these young men are the future. These are youthful young men that could be doing productive things in society, got a talent, a lot of them. Because like the young lady said, there are a lot of the talent is in jail, and that's the truth. But they could be out doing productive things, and unfortunately they are they're getting ready to go away for the rest of their lives. you know I know. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say that either. But you guys, let's see, we've been on here almost 2 hours. I was trying to get you all to get involved, because see, when I'm on here by myself and I'm talking, like, my throat started hurting. I just dropped the link. And like I said, I was going to start limiting my lives to 2 hours, because my caseloads and stuff have picked up again. And then I've added some more stuff, and I'm still really excited about it. The expansion and a lot of the things that I've added as far as my investigative company, and being able to create jobs and train some people. Because I was actually surprised by the amount of people that I get to reach out to me, because in Tennessee they're very strict about the policies on being a private investigator. And for me, I have to make sure when I'm training people that their minds are right. I don't like people with a lot of piss and vinegar in them, and they have to understand the policies and the laws, and they have to walk on a tightrope. And then a lot of times, like I said, when cases go cold, people come and get private investigators, and we have to have a relationship and work with the police department, right? Which is easy for me because I worked for the police department, and a lot of my friends are over there, right? So it's easy for me to be able to communicate and work with them. And we have a mutual respect, and I want investigators that understand to be able to train investigators too, like I was trained, that understands privacy. Because I'm very big on that. I don't like people that are all out of control, that get emotional and start telling stuff. Well, I can't stand that. I like people that know how to keep secrets, because that's what investigators do. If it's 53 people in here, can we get 53 likes? For those of you all that have not liked the video, please like the video. And for those of you all that have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. They're trying to lower the age as an adult. That way these taxpayers will not go to jail. 15 grown gay men picking up 15-year-old boyfriend from school. Um, boyfriend from school. That where it's going. Oh yeah, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. They're lowering the age because a lot of the lawmakers are pedophiles and they want to be able to openly be with their 12 or 13-year-old. Um, they want to be able to openly be with their 12 or 13-year-old child. There are a lot of sick people out there, y'all. The things that these people are doing to children are absolutely criminal. That's why it makes me so mad when I see women bringing different people, different men around um, their children. I'm gonna tell you something, especially when they got older sons and the man is up for no good. Let's just say they got a teenage boy that's growing. If he ain't up for no good and he want to mistreat that lady or he ain't right, what the first thing he'll do is he'll start in on that boy to try to get that lady to put that boy out, to try to put him out because he want that boy out of his house, out of their house, because he know a growing boy ain't gonna stand for him to be able to be mistreating his mama and molesting his sister. Okay, so he got to hurry up and convince that lady that her son is a problem, and get that boy out of that house because he really actually got a fear of him rising up and doing something to him. So he wants to eliminate any strong threats, which is probably a teenage boy. And unfortunately, a lot of these women do that. Oh, well, little JoJo was talking back and I wanted him to respect him. First of all, you had all that stuff. You had that house and stuff before that man got there. He ain't got a pot to piss in, or like my grandmother say, a tissue to wipe with after he pissed. But you letting him tell you that your son is a problem when actually he ain't no problem. He's just threatened by him because he want to be able to molest your daughter and beat you over across the head without that boy rising up and sticking him. Okay, so that's what happened a lot of times when you see women with teenage boys and she get a man and he all of a sudden she putting him out because she said he being disrespectful to the man. Now that man just don't want that boy there, and he convinces her to put him out so that he can do wrong. Okay, so that he can try to run the house and do evil things. I'm telling you, it happens. It happens all the time. He know that boy is going to protect his little sister, and he know that boy is going to protect his mama when he do wrong. So they normally don't want the teenage boys there if they ain't no, because most good men will try and rear the teenagers in the right direction. But a lot of these men are out to try to, especially when they ain't right, especially when they come straight in out of jail. They already know that the young man, because a lot of times when they've been in jail, I'm just going to be real, 15, 20 years, when they come in out of jail, they ain't interested in no woman anyways. He just want a roof over his head, and she got the roof. So he know that the young boy is already masculine, strong, tall. He can't try nothing with him because he already know he going to pop him. These young teenage boys, he's already going into his manhood. He know what's right from wrong, and he ain't scared. If he tried to do anything to him as far as sexually, he know not to do that. So he'll target the little girl, and he got to convince the mama that the young 16-year-old boy is a problem to get him out of that house. Okay, so that he can wreak havoc. And it happens more than what you all think. It happens, as a matter of fact, every single day. The more that we, try, and even on my TV show around the Mid-South area, the more that I try and talk to young ladies. I used to have events all the time and have women to come out and tell their stories, have a lot of the political people from here in Memphis to come out and talk to a lot of the young adults. Yeah, Jamel, it happens in every race, to come out and talk to a lot of the young adults. I used to do that all the time. I used to have tea and talk, where I would have politicians from in the city, the police chief, and the TBI chief, and all of them to come out and talk to the youth. You know, um, have different organizations to come out and tell their stories about what young women can do, what young men can do if they was being molested. I'm actually going to get back to that, because molestation, because a lot of parents now are on drugs big time. Molestation is messing our children up big time, y'all. When I tell y'all that sex crimes is always full to the capacity, all out in the hallway every single day with different cases, it is the absolute truth. And they cannot publicize that. They can't put that on TV because of the privacy laws. And it usually happens right within the family. You know, it happens right within the family. And for some reason, with Black people, they don't like to deal with when there is a molester in the family, right? They'll just say, well, you know, y'all know not to leave that y'all know don't y'all know not to leave them little girls with Rufus. Somebody stay here, Rufus at the house with them kids. Somebody stay there and watch them kids. They like to try and protect a predator. Because I'll never forget now, there was this young man in South Memphis, and he was so pitiful that he was about in his early 20s. He liked to molest kids. And the sad thing about it is, I remember when the officers was talking to him, he said he had told them, because he had gone to jail before. He said he had told them, you know, don't leave the kids around me. Don't, he said, I keep telling them, don't leave the little girls around me. You know, he was mentally ill. He said, I was telling my mind, don't do it, don't do it. But it's just something in me that I can't help myself. My mind I keep telling my mind, no, don't do it, don't do it. You know, but his folks was saying that they had gone to church and got him delivered, because the officer said he's been to jail before for molestation. Why? Because they took them, they brought them in. Because now that's neglect. Why do y'all leave these kids around him? They said that he had been delivered, set free. Okay, that's what they used. They said God had delivered him and set him free, and the boy was sitting there saying, I telling my mind not to do it, but I can't help myself. I just like to feel on little girls, and these was little girls in his family. The man was telling him. He said he told him. When they were saying Jesus done set you free, he said, I told him that I still want to touch on my little cousins and nieces and stuff. So, y'all, but that's mental illness. You're right. Somebody was saying it's mental illness, y'all. That's got to be dealt with in our community. And I guess this all goes into the bloodshed that was a part of my topic. Once we start healing with, especially even the parents, because we got to make sure the parents get healed so that they can start breeding healthy children. Because if we start helping the children and we don't help the parents, the kids got to go right back home to that toxic house. You know, only one thing helps: werewolves. You know, the kids got to go back right on back home to that toxic house, y'all. These parents are on drugs like never before. Every time, especially in the Black community, but in the community too, it seems like Black people start waking up. I feel like more and more types of different drugs are incorporated. Okay. It is. There are so many people that are just strung out on drugs. There are so many people that that take, you know, that consistently consume alcohol to cover up pain. And so there are just so many emotionally unstable people because of the toxicity and the drugs that they take. They couldn't raise their kids right. And the kids are the ones that are suffering because it's trickling down to them. The misparenting skills. It is. It's trickling down to our children. So, you know, like I say, in the wake of this young Dolph situation, I guess my subject kind of had to change a little bit tonight, because I was gonna have, like I said, y'all, I had a celebrity guest that was coming on tonight to talk about the young Dolph situation, and he's still gonna come on, but I'm not mad at him because he had been in the hospital and he had to cancel at the last minute because he wasn't feeling good, but he's definitely going to come on. But in order for the bloodshed to stop, I guess God took me in the right direction. In order for this bloodshed to stop, you guys. Hello, Roosevelt. In order for this bloodshed to stop, we're going to have to start raising our children. You know, fathers are going to have to get back into the home. We put all the pressure on the mothers, but these mothers did not get these babies by themselves. It's almost like it's a double standard. We don't put that amount of pressure on men, and it's nothing said when men are deadbeats. And these boys need their fathers because these OGs don't care anything about them. Good night, Yam. These OGs don't care anything about them. They are misguiding our children. They're misguiding our children. All right, you guys. I have been on here for 2 hours tonight. I'm almost going on 2.5 hours. Like I said, I was going to start limiting it to 2 hours, 2.5 hours, because I still got to finish some case notes. But let's see, we got 50 people on here. Y'all hung in here with me strong tonight. I appreciate that so much. Like I said, when I got on tonight, I was supposed to have, when I scheduled tonight, I was supposed to have a guest to come on, a celebrity guest that's going to come on here and kind of enlighten us on the Young Dolph case. And he's still going to come on. He had to cancel at the last minute, but I'm still going to get him on. And then I'm working on getting a couple other people on. As a matter of fact, I got one person that has already confirmed that they're going to be on here. That is from a label, and I'm not going to say which one, to talk about this Young Dolph situation and to kind of enlighten you all on some stuff. But I want to thank you all for tuning in. It is 12 o'clock. I got to finish up my last case note for the night so I can send off a report to one of my clients. It's not due until Monday, but I like to send my stuff off a day ahead of time. And because like I said, thank you, Kenny. Thank you all for getting on so much. Like, there's so much expansion that's going on in my investigative company. I just thank God for it because that's what I have been praying for. And I think and before I get off, I want to say this, y'all. When God when you ask for increase, start watching your surroundings, okay? Because when you ask for increase and you start praying and meditating and putting that into the atmosphere, the enemy don't want to see you increase. So he will put people around you to try and stop that, okay? There are a lot of people that's overdue for a lot of things that God has for them, but you got the wrong people around you and you can't get it until they go. See, God can't give you everything you want yet because you got the wrong people in your camp. A lot of y'all sleeping with the enemy and don't even know it, okay? So once those people, you start to get rid of that heavy weight, God gonna start to take you up. And I want you all to remember that, okay? But I want to thank you all for tuning in. We'll get back on here. I may get on tomorrow, but I'm gonna try to get on tomorrow. But I said I've been working so much. I said I was going to take a day for myself, but I might get on tomorrow night. If the person that I was going to have on tonight is feeling better tomorrow, then we're going to get right back on his Sunday. Okay. But I want to thank you all for tuning in. For those of you all that are getting ready to go to sleep, I pray God's peace over you. And for those of you all that's got to go to work or going to church in the morning, I ask that God goes before you all. Thank you all for tuning in and have a good night.